Okay, James Pratt here again here at the TASK conference in Tulsa, and we're talking to our friends at Alcatel-Lucent about their networking equipment this time. We've talked about the phones a little bit. We're going to talk about their networking equipment. You guys have some really unique networking products for switching and routing and access points. So why don't you cover that just a little bit?
Sure. So, and actually we have a pretty wide range that's designed to meet any need, any economic parameters that we have to fit in. But I mean, we start from the very basic. We've got the 6360, the small switch on top of the larger switch. This is our mid-range switch on the bottom, the 6560. But I mean, if you really want a big chassis-based switch, we offer that as well, and some things in between. And then we have a full line of wireless access points, both indoor and outdoor. Our technical approach to the wireless access points is a decentralized control. So there's no central controller. However, we do have global management. So you can manage it as all one network and make the tweaks.
Even the switches and the VLANs and the SSIDs and all that.
Absolutely. On the wireless, it's designed that way because we found it's easier to implement control at the AP level from a security perspective than trying to go all the way back to a controller and implement policies and security there.
Okay.
So that's why we chose that architecture. So our APs tend to be a little bit more robust, but when you look at the cost versus other solutions, a lot of times we're a lot more economical.
So explain how this benefits a school. I mean,
sure,
so if you don't mind.
Yeah, well, again, security is becoming a bigger and bigger play.
Network security.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So our products are designed to enhance the security posture of the school. Again, on the wireless, having the policy at the AP, we enforce the security sooner rather than the traffic go into the network and then enforce policy.
Well, let's give an example of that.
So as far as so we've got so we've got a call Universal Profile Management.
Okay.
That's designed to, as part of our Zero Trust Network architecture. It's designed to make sure that the people that are supposed to be on the network are on the network, and those that are specifically in different groups, we can assign different privileges.
Okay.
So if I can do that at the AP, I'm eliminating traffic that's unnecessary at the AP, as opposed to going all the way back into the network and trying to do that at a control.
So let's talk about, so I want to give an example, like a student or a teacher or a first grade student versus a senior in high school. You might have different requirements.
Sure, so what you would do is you would group these different, and even you could subdivide the students based on grade or however you want to do it, or academic standing even.
Okay.
And then, so they would have a certain profile. They would have access limited to certain applications that they're supposed to be.
Okay.
Staff would have different privileges. Maybe there'd be, obviously, like in the instructional learning part, there's going to be some overlap there because they're going to be accessing those applications from the instructor point of view. Students are going to be accessing it from the student point of view, but there may be some other applications that the staff needs or the teachers, instructors, or even temporary, right? There may be contractors that come in, and based on what their role is in the organization, we can have them specifically access only those services or applications on the network. And that's wired or wireless. That pervades both.
And so the management control makes it easy.
Yep.
That's my.
Well, and that's the other thing. We add automation. So that if there's an issue on the network, somebody could take a look and we'll have suggested actions. They could even configure it to the point where, well, I know this is always, on this problem, this is always the solution I want to do. Just let the AI do that solution.
Okay.
Where the human doesn't even have to intervene at all.
Yep.
Or I want some human intervention before I start making changes on the network. I can make it operate like that. It's totally customized to what the director of IT wants done.
So a lot of the schools are smaller.
Yep.
And so this makes it easier for them, either them or Twotrees, somebody like us, to manage that network.
Yeah. Ease of use. We're We're big in smaller schools and also large universities, because based upon our method of shortest path bridging, we're able to basically provide the speeds and feeds that are needed in a large environment, on top of making that switch secure at the same time. So,
well, and you mentioned shortest path bridging. One of the big advantages of shortest path bridging is that typical on a network, I'm configuring every piece of equipment in the network. With shortest path bridging, I'm focusing on what's happening at the edge. Okay, so how the user interacts with the applications and what access they have. The magic takes place in the middle. I'm not necessarily having to configure everything in the middle. I am focused strictly on what's happening at the edge and the behavior I want to take place at the edge. And that makes it a lot simpler, because now I'm only focusing configuration efforts on this level. I'm not having to worry about the upper levels, because those are taken care of for me with SPB.
Oh, okay.
That's the beauty of SPB, is the simplicity. And I'm also thinking of it from an application network, like the rest of the technology stack, like the instructional learning that I'm having. I'm focusing more on users applying or getting access to that, rather than, okay, well, this is at this location, this is at that location. I'm not thinking of the network that way. Completely different logic, but it is a lot more congruent to the rest of the technology stack in the network.
and we're seeing that in customers when they're utilizing their video cameras and everything. If they're utilizing shortest path bridging, we're seeing, like, when they refresh their cameras, milliseconds, rather than on other lines being able to only do about 7 seconds. So you're seeing a lot more speed going through shortest path bridging.
Speed and the biggie really for a lot of my customers is ease of use.
Easy use.
Because a lot of schools don't have the technical resources to have a network engineer that really understands this stuff to make it work. So making it easy to use is really critical.
Easy, you get the speed and ease of use, and you get the security on top of it.
Well, and one thing, and we'll close on this. So we have something called lightning config, and you bring up a good point. I may have somebody with some technical knowledge, but that's not necessarily the person going out to install the switch, right? They may have a very low technical knowledge, or it may be even a maintenance person, right? If I could get the maintenance person, because he's already going to be out there, to actually physically place the switch and do a few things on a smartphone, we have something called lightning config, so that he can get the switch set up to the point where the engineer, whether that's at the school or a partner or remote, they can do this remotely and get into the switch and do okay, well, I can take care of the rest of the configuration from there.
Great. Well, cool. So that's what we, like I was saying, Twotrees, we sell a lot of Alcatel-Lucent. We're really happy with it. Put a lot of schools in with it. It's affordable, powerful, easy to use. So if you're interested, give us a call. We'd love to help you out and get you some pricing.